You are still here. And that right there is no small thing, because I know, and you know, and if we are being completely honest with each other today, God knows that there have been moments, probably recently, maybe even this morning before you clicked on this video, when staying felt harder than leaving, when getting up felt harder than staying down, when smiling at people felt like the most exhausting performance you have ever given in your entire life, and nobody even gave you a standing ovation for it. Not one person, not even a golf clap, but you are here. You clicked on this. Something in you, something that is not tired, something that refuses to quit, even when the rest of you has filed the resignation papers. Something in you said, not yet, not today. And I want to talk to that part of you, because that part of you, that is God working. That is the divine in you pulling you forward, when everything else in you wants to sit down on the floor and eat biscuits and cry. So, welcome. Welcome to this conversation, because that is what this is, a conversation. I am not here to preach at you from some high and lofty tower, acting like I have never had a bad day, or a bad year, or a bad season that stretched so long. I started to wonder if it was actually just my life now. I have been there, and I want to sit here with you and tell you a few things that changed everything for me. Not complicated things, not 12 steps and a workbook and a 3-year certification, just truth. Simple, beautiful, sometimes funny, always faithful truth. Now, let us start with the thing nobody wants to say out loud. You are tired. Not the kind of tired that a nap fixes. Not the kind of tired that a cup of tea and an early bedtime can touch. You are soul tired, bone tired. The kind of tired that lives behind your eyes and wraps itself around your shoulders and follows you into rooms and sits next to you and whispers, "How much longer can you actually do this?" That kind of tired. And do you know what the world tells you when you are that tired? The world says, push through, hustle harder. You just need better habits. Have you tried waking up at 5 in the morning? Have you tried a vision board? Have you tried manifesting? And meanwhile, you are standing there thinking, I am barely manifesting the energy to put on proper trousers today, and you want me to do a vision board? Here is what I want you to know first, before anything else, before we go any further. Your tiredness is not a character flaw. It is not evidence that you are weak. It is not proof that you are failing. It is evidence that you have been strong for a very long time, without enough help, without enough rest, and possibly without enough people in your corner telling you the truth. And the truth is this: God sees it. Every single bit of it. Not just the parts you post about, not just the prayer requests you make in public, the 3M ceilings you stare at, the conversations you have in the car alone, the tears you cried in the shower, because the shower is the one place you could cry without anyone asking what was wrong. God sees all of it. And God is not sitting up in heaven clicking his tongue and shaking his head saying, look at this one, still struggling, still not over it, still asking. No, God is leaning in. God is listening. And God has been answering in ways that perhaps you have not yet had the eyes to see. So let us talk about that. There is a very old and very beautiful idea, and I have spent a great deal of my life studying and living it, that the universe, that God, operates according to a law, not a suggestion, not a preference, a law. Just as there is a law of gravity that works whether you believe in it or not. And trust me, it works. I have the bruises to prove it. There is a spiritual law that also works whether you believe in it or not. And that law says this: every word you speak, every thought you hold, every image you carry inside you goes out into the fabric of creation and begins arranging circumstances to match it. Now before you say, oh, here we go, she is going to tell me I attracted my problems. No, absolutely not. I am not going to say that, because life happens to people, and sometimes things happen that are completely beyond your doing. And a person who tells a grieving mother, or a sick child, or someone who has suffered genuine injustice that they manifested, their pain is a person who has confused spiritual law with spiritual cruelty. That is not what I am talking about. What I am talking about is this: Once the hard thing has happened, once you are in the middle of the storm, once you are sitting in what feels like the wreckage of something you built and loved and watched fall apart, what happens next is profoundly shaped by what you choose to believe, not what you pretend to believe, not what you perform in front of other people, what you actually, genuinely, in the secret chambers of your heart, believe about whether you are going to be okay. And this is where it gets interesting, because most of us, when we are tired and hurting and at the end of ourselves, we do not even realize what we are believing. We think we are just being realistic. We think we are just facing facts. But what we are actually doing is rehearsing the worst possible outcome over and over and over again in our minds, like it is a very bad play that we cannot stop watching. We tell the story of our pain to ourselves constantly. We describe the problem in great detail. We catalogue every wound. We measure every disappointment. And we call this being honest, when actually what it is doing is keeping us perfectly, efficiently, thoroughly stuck. I am not saying deny the problem. Denial is not faith. Denial is just lying to yourself and calling it optimism. I am saying something far more powerful than denial. I am saying, acknowledge what is, and then speak to what shall be. Acknowledge the storm, and then speak peace to it. Because here is what I know from years and years of watching this work in my own life, and in the lives of people I have loved and walked alongside. The moment you change what you are saying about your situation, the situation begins to change. It sounds too simple. I know it does. You are sitting there thinking, she does not know my situation. She does not know how complicated this is. She does not know how long I have been waiting, how much I have already lost, how many times I have prayed, and nothing seemed to happen. And you are right. I do not know the specific details of your story, but I know the author of it. And I know that God has a track record, a long, documented, historical, personal track record of turning impossible situations into testimonies. God has been in the business of making ways where there were no ways since before your grandmother's grandmother was born. And God has not retired. God has not downsized. God has not outsourced your case to a lower level angel who is not really paying attention. God sees your pain. God hears your cry. And God is already moving, even when you cannot see the movement. Here is an image I love, and I want you to hold it in your mind. Think about a seed, just a small, ordinary seed. You put it in the ground, you cover it with dirt, and then nothing. You look at the ground and see nothing. For days, for weeks maybe. There is no evidence on the surface that anything is happening at all. And if you did not know better, if you had never seen a garden grow before, you might conclude that the seed was dead, that nothing was coming, that you had wasted your time, and your seed, and your hope. But underground, in the dark, in the quiet, in the place where no human eye can see, everything is happening. The seed is cracking open. The roots are going down. The first tender shoot is making its way up through layers of soil toward a light it has not yet seen but somehow knows is there. It is all happening in the hiddenness. And then one day, one ordinary Tuesday morning that looks just like every other Tuesday, there is a green thing where there was nothing. And it is a miracle. And it was happening the whole time. Your life is the seed. Your situation is the soil. And just because you cannot see what God is doing underground does not mean God is doing nothing. It means the miracle is in process. And the worst thing you can do is dig up the seed every morning to check if it is growing yet, because that, my friend, is how you kill the very thing that was about to bloom. Leave it in God's hands. This is not passivity. This is not do nothing and hope for the best. This is the highest form of active trust. This is you doing your part, being faithful, being present, being kind, taking the next right step that is in front of you, and simultaneously releasing the outcome to the one who can actually control it. Because here is the uncomfortable truth about control. You never had it. You thought you did. I thought I did. We have all walked around convinced that if we just planned enough, and worried enough, and worked hard enough, and stayed vigilant enough, we could control how things turned out. And life, in its tremendous mercy, has shown us again and again that we cannot. And the moment we stop trying to white-knuckle our way through our own existence and instead say, with genuine surrender, God, I trust you with this, something shifts. Something in the atmosphere shifts. Something in us shifts. And the thing we were fighting so hard to hold together starts to come together on its own. Now, I want to talk about something that nobody talks about in these kinds of conversations, and I think it needs to be said. And that is, it is okay to be honest with God about how you feel. You do not have to put on your Sunday face when you come to God. You do not have to clean yourself up and speak in formal language and pretend that everything is fine. God already knows everything is not fine. God was there when it stopped being fine. You are not going to surprise God with the truth about your situation. And you are certainly not going to offend God by saying, I am exhausted, I am scared, I do not understand what is happening. And if I am being completely transparent, I am a little bit angry, and I am very confused, and I would really appreciate some clarity, because I am not sure how much longer I can do this. That is not a lack of faith. That is intimacy. That is the kind of honest, raw, unfiltered conversation that God actually wants from you. Because God does not want a performance. God wants you. The real you. The tired you. The confused you. The I showed up anyway, even though I have absolutely nothing left you. That is the you that God reaches for. There is a beautiful thing that happens when you stop pretending to be fine and start being honest about where you are. The grace that was waiting for you to admit you needed it comes rushing in. And it does not come in the form you expected, necessarily. Sometimes it comes as a phone call from someone you had not spoken to in months. Sometimes it comes as a door that opens when you were absolutely certain every door was closed. Sometimes it comes as a strange and inexplicable peace that settles over you in the middle of a situation that has not changed at all, but you have. Something in you has shifted, and you realize that the thing you were afraid of no longer has the same power over you it once did. This is God. This is what leaving it in God's hands actually looks like in real life. Not the neat, tidy, everything resolved in 45 minutes version. The messy, human, I don't understand this, but somehow I still have peace version. Now let us talk about some practical things. Because faith without works, as a very wise man once wrote, is dead. And I believe that. I believe that God moves when we move. I believe that trust looks like action. And I want to give you a few things you can actually do today, this week, that will begin to shift the atmosphere around your situation. The first thing is this. Change the story you are telling. I mean this literally. Tonight, or this week, sit down and write out the situation you are facing. Write it out the way you have been telling it. All the problems, all the pain, all the evidence that things are bad. And then, on a new page, write it out the way you want it to be. Not what you think is possible, what you want. Write it in the present tense, as if it is already so. I am at peace. I have everything I need. The right doors are opening for me. God is working this out for my good. Write it out. Read it out loud. Every morning if you can. Not because the words themselves are magic, but because what you rehearse in your mind and mouth begins to shape your expectation. And your expectation shapes what you see. And what you see shapes what you move toward. And what you move toward, well, that is where you end up. The second thing is this. Find one person to be honest with. One real person in your actual life that you can look in the face and say, I am struggling, and I need someone to stand with me right now. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. Even the strongest people need someone to hold their arms up sometimes. Do not carry this alone. God gave us each other for a reason. Community is part of the plan. Let someone in. The third thing, and I know this one is going to be unpopular, so I am going to say it anyway because I care about you, is this. Rest. Actual rest. Not just sleep, though sleep matters. But the kind of rest where you give yourself permission to not be productive for a little while. Where you give yourself permission to just exist without having to justify your existence with your output. God rested on the seventh day. not because God was tired, but to give us a model, a rhythm, a reminder that rest is not laziness, rest is sacred. And if you are running on empty, and you have been running on empty for longer than you care to admit, the most faithful thing you can do right now is stop, sit down, let yourself be replenished before you try to pour out again. The fourth thing is gratitude. And before you roll your eyes at me, I know gratitude is in every motivational video ever made. And I know it can sound hollow when you are in real pain. But here is what I know about gratitude that goes beyond the feel-good version. Gratitude is a form of sight. It is training your eyes to see what is already there, what is already working, what God has already done. Because here is what is true even in your hardest season. There are things that are still standing. There are things that have not been taken. There are small mercies scattered through even the most difficult days, like breadcrumbs on a path that is leading somewhere good. Gratitude is picking up those breadcrumbs and recognizing that they did not appear by accident. Start small. I am grateful that I woke up. I am grateful that someone smiled at me today. I am grateful that there is air in my lungs and a mind that can think and a heart that still feels. Because a